Donald Trump is panicking as the MeidasTouch clips that exposed his dark past are surfacing, and people are easily putting the puzzle pieces together to show Donald Trump's connections with Epstein, Donald Trump's engaging in behavior that we know the Department of Justice seems to be redacting from the Epstein files. Let me just break down what's going down. I think one of the underrated moments of the Pam Bondi hearing that deserves much more attention is when Democratic Congressmember Dan Goldman was cross-examining Attorney General Pam Bondi, and he held up a document which was an email between Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, where they redacted communications that Epstein was forwarding to Maxwell that involved Donald Trump or Trump's attorneys communicating with Epstein or Epstein's attorneys. And it was believed to be about discussions regarding their relationship and the fact that here's what I think's underneath there, that Epstein was actually never a member of Mar-a-Lago to begin with. He was always just a good friend of Donald Trump, and that he was a guest who would be invited there, so he couldn't be banned from a place where he wasn't a guest. And I think it totally contradicts what Donald Trump's been saying. Oh, I banned Epstein. So it's a devastating document for Donald Trump. There's no reason why this document should be redacted. The Trump DOJ claims that there's privilege regarding this document, so they're withholding it on the basis of either attorney-client privilege or something called deliberative process privilege. But why in the world would an email from Epstein to Ghislaine be attorney-client privilege or deliberative process privilege? So first, let me show you, again, remind you of this cross-examination of Pam Bondi by Goldman. But then I want to pull out these receipts of the MeidasTouch videos, which people are now looking back at and say, oh, got it. It's been in our plain sight the whole time. Beneath these redactions are just confirmation of the MeidasTouch clips that for the past 4 to 5 years, the MeidasTouch network has been digging up, and we've been posting. Like, remember, we posted the photos of that 1991 beauty pageant that Donald Trump had with the young 14, 15-year-old girls who were walking around him in their bathing suits, and then they party on the yacht together. Remember, we posted the video of Uncle Luke from the rap band 2 Live crew from the early 90s. During that period, he talks about going to Mar-a-Lago with Mike Tyson and I think Eddie Murphy, and they were there at Mar-a-Lago, and Uncle Luke says he sees girls who are very young, they look underage. He fears that he's going to be extorted, and so Uncle Luke says that he's got to leave. Remember the clips that we've been posting of Michael Wolff. He did interviews here. He did interviews on other podcasts as well, where he talks about he saw from Epstein photographs of Donald Trump with stains on his pants and naked girls who looked very young or indeterminate age. And Epstein showed Wolff the photographs, and Epstein said he kept it in a lockbox in his home, and it was believed, and we were reporting, and Wolff came on the show to talk about, and he went on other shows as well, that these documents were likely taken by the FBI and they're perhaps in the files. I said that's probably something that is being redacted and hidden right now as well. And then there's the video, of course, of Donald Trump saying that young girls are like alcohol to him, that he's like, he doesn't drink, but young girls give him the same feeling, like a raging alcoholic. And this was in a event that he was holding where he called a young lady up from the audience, and then he said, "You want to be on my plane? I like young girls on my plane," or words to that effect. You can listen to what he says. And I think he talks about like a 17-year-old girl on his plane, and how when the girl was on the plane, it's like alcohol. He's like addicted to that, he says. So I want to, and then we got to go over some other videos of Donald Trump and a tennis star who was 17 years old who quit playing tennis for a little bit, and she was apparently taken to Mar-a-Lago, and this was reported at the time. So MeidasTouch we've been reporting on all this stuff now, and it's interesting. I was going to say it's funny, but that's not the word. It's interesting that people are now pulling up all the MeidasTouch clips that we've been dropping for the past 4 to 5 years. So let me just go through this with you, because this is the MeidasTouch network. We come bearing receipts. So let's go one by one, shall we? So first, the redactions from the Epstein files that we know that were in the unredacted portion that the members of Congress are being spied on by Trump's DOJ. But Democratic Congressmember Dan Goldman holds up the email between Epstein and Ghislaine. Listen for yourself, watch for yourself. Here, play this clip.
Mr. Chairman, Ms. Bondi, I went over to the department yesterday for a couple of hours to review some of the unredacted materials. And I am looking forward to your detailed explanation for why you have withheld almost half of the documents, which is required by the bill. Now, obviously, there are 3 million documents, so I didn't get through much. But one thing I didn't see was the client list that you said you had on your desk a year ago. I did, however, find a couple of important documents. An 86-page prosecution memo from the Southern District of New York and a draft indictment from Florida against Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirators. For reasons that I cannot understand nor are permitted by the bill, they were still redacted, even for members of Congress. So, Ms. Bondi, will you commit right here to immediately providing those 2 documents in unredacted form to members of Congress? Not a complicated question.
Well, I guess it is for you because you have a law degree and those are privileged.
Okay. They're not privileged, but we will discuss that later.
So then we pull out this article right here. Tennis prodigy, ball in parents' court. And this article starts to talk about how, at 17 years old, Monica Seles withdrew from playing in Wimbledon because of an alleged injury, and she started staying at Mar-a-Lago, and people are like, what the hell is going on? And then she appeared in commercials right around this time period when she was underage or when she was, 17 years old, and she was staying at Mar-a-Lago. It was widely reported she's living at Trump's place in Mar-a-Lago, at this time period. And there was questions. Was she dating Trump? Like, what the hell was going on? So let me just play for you first the story how in 1991, tennis champion Monica Seles withdrew from playing at Wimbledon because of an alleged injury, and she was invited to Mar-a-Lago. Play this clip.
Yet another woman in Donald Trump's life. Tennis star Monica Seles, the top-ranking female player in the world, stunned everybody when she suddenly dropped out of Wimbledon. Now she turned up at the Trump mansion in Florida. Rosanna Scott.
Days ago, only to strangely resurface at Trump's palatial Florida estate. The mega developer reportedly invited the 17-year-old Yugoslav to stay at his home so she could avoid reporters trying to find out why she skipped the tournament. But why would Trump want to get involved in this? Could this eligible bachelor have met his match? The editor of Tennis Magazine could only guess.
Athletes attract all kinds of people. Say, we have a term for them called jock sniffers, which the term, people who feel somewhat bigger by hanging around with athletes or celebrities, and I think it doesn't matter what social status you're from.
Trump has been known to be a big tennis fan. In fact, he found himself in some trouble last year when he was squiring Argentine tennis star Gabriela Sabatini around his casino in Atlantic City. She was 19 years old, underage according to Jersey law. Trump was served with a fine. While Mr. Trump would not comment on this latest tennis friendship, a published report says the Donald is really not interested in Monica romantically. In fact, her parents are staying with her at Mar-a-Lago.
She's kind of a melodramatic kid. She's always said she wants to be an actress, and she's loves L.A., and I can see myself in L.A. in a few years, but this is a little bit too Mata Hari-ish, even for tennis.
In Manhattan, Rosanna Scotto, Fox 5 News.
And then here's a commercial that she did for a company with connections to Sears. It was a company called No Excuses. And you see at a very young age how she was being like sexualized. And you see that she's in a car that says Trump. I mean, you see what's going on here. Here, play this clip.
I'm not going to do just any commercial. I'm not going to sell out.
U.S. Open champion Meidas.
I'm not giving up my acting lessons. No way. And I'm not going to Disney World.
So then we look at the MeidasTouch Network unearthed footage of the 1991 Look of the Year modeling competition with 14-year-old girls. They said it was from 14 to 28, but all of the sources there said the girls were really 14, 15, 16-year-old girls who Donald Trump made them parade in front of him wearing swimsuits and like wearing very little clothing. Here, play this clip. You'll see the MTN logo. We found this. This has been viewed like literally hundreds of millions of times right now. Play this clip.
The 58 contestants participated in an exhaustive round of personal interviews designed to help our judges discover what makes each one special.
You're 5'9" reading? Serious, huh? We measure again tonight before the Okay. Thank you very much, Amy.
The concentration was intense inside the judging room.
What if they don't like you as you are?
And out.
I'm just so excited.
Each girl was considered not only for her beauty and poise, but also for her personality and that indefinable
something extra that makes a top model.
Okay, you want to pull your hair back 1 second? Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Ingrid. Good luck for tonight.
Thank you.
When it came time to choose the 21 finalists, emotions ran high as each judge expressed his or her opinion.
And then they go and party on a yacht together. Play this clip.
Aboard the Spirit of New York. The ever-present paparazzi took advantage of the numerous photo opportunities, and everyone was entranced by the views. Despite the long day behind them and the work that lay ahead, the girls just didn't want to quit.
Here's one more clip from that event.
The Look of the Year contest is the ultimate contest for women that want to go all the way in the modeling business.
Featuring 58 of the world's most beautiful young women, competing for more than $700,000 in prizes.
Wow.
And the chance of a dream come true, a career as one of modeling's superstars. We'll take you behind the scenes and onto the runway. You see the fun, feel the excitement. You'll pick your favorite, along with our panel of expert and celebrity judges. Enjoy front row VIP seats at our gala evening, where one of these contestants will be selected as the girl Look of the Year.
You see right here what the girls looked like. I mean, these were little girls. Look, these are little girls in over here. And then photos of Donald Trump looking at them, real absolute creepy. So then MeidasTouch also unearthed the footage of, as I mentioned, 2 Live Crew rap star from the early 1990s, Uncle Luke. He talks about going to a Mar-a-Lago party. He left right away. He thought he was going to get extorted because the girls all looked underage, or a lot of them looked so young, he said, that he had to get the hell out of there. This is just using his words, because he didn't want anything to do with what he was seeing there. He said that there was sex and underage girls, and this is what he observed, and he wanted to get the hell out of there. Here's what he said.
If the man took us around the house, okay, he said, look, I got all these women. I got these women from the pageant. They're going to be there. So we went. It was like, hey, man, I got a pageant down here. I'm hosting these women at the house, okay, up in Palm Beach. They sent some cars to pick us up. We get in the cars. We drive up there. Me, Mike, Eddie Murphy, we all in our own individual cars. Car service drove us up there. We got there. He showed us around the house. told us about this mansion and the history behind it and all that. Just the golf course. It was dark. We couldn't see the golf course and things like that. And then before you know it, hey, man, y'all enjoy yourself. We got cocktails and everything. And before you know it, the rooms and everything start popping. There wasn't no DJ. It was more of, hey, get in where you fit in. Whatever room you're going to go in, you go into that room.
So you say no DJ. There was no music? Or the music was piped in?
No, there wasn't no music.
No music.
That was the interesting part about it. There wasn't no music.
So women just naked in rooms with no music?
Hey, people walking around. It wasn't, listen, it wasn't nothing wrong with that. I was happy to be at that party. But then at the end of the day, when I started looking at some of these girls' faces, I was like, man, these girls don't look like they're old enough. I didn't ask nobody their age. And then all the other stuff going on, it was like, okay, I can't be up here. I got to go. If I'm going to jail, then somebody's going to extort me. I really, I don't do drugs. Never did it in my life. I smoked marijuana 2 times, when I was in high school, and I didn't like the experience. As far as drugs, I may have sold drugs. I never liked the people who I sold them to when I was young, because I thought they were stupid for buying it. So I never had cared to indulge in it. So when I do see people doing it, if I'm around it, I get away from it.
And here's more from Luke right here.
Let me tell you, the thing is, when you're around, I've been around a lot of models and a lot of these pageant women, because that's what mostly it was. It was mostly pageant women. And a lot of these women ain't of age. So when you got a whole bunch of these women running around, whether they of age or not, there's a lot of things going on. You just, some women look too young. So you keep it moving.
I see.
So it wasn't nobody beating no women, nobody taking advantage of no women. I mean, they were all enjoying themselves. That's what they were there for. But were they old enough to be enjoying themselves? I don't know.
Was there sex?
Of course there was sex.
I guess that's a stupid question now to ask. Okay, so I think I got you now. You're saying that all this was going on and you weren't clear as to whether these were adults.
I wasn't clear whether or not they were adults, and I wasn't clear whether or not, whether I wanted to be in that kind of environment where some of these other things that was going on in there. I ain't gonna too much elaborate about everything else what was going on outside of the sexual act. But
well, my brother, we love for you too. We love for you too. That's why we on Serious X. Because we can open it up. We on Serious XM. We can bust it wide open right here.
The drugs and the alcohol and the sex and all that, but I ain't gonna talk about the drugs and the alcohol and the sex.
But but now you did say that if you were on XM, you could talk about it. So that's why we here, man. I mean, people, inquiring minds want to know.
I said I can use the profanity and all that there, and talk about naked people and all that. But then I ain't the drug part. I don't want to talk about that part of it.
And that brings us, of course, to Michael Wolff, where he said these are the photos that Jeffrey Epstein showed him. I think this is noteworthy as well. Let's play this clip.
And I've said before that Epstein used to bring out this set of pictures. There were about a dozen snapshots. And among them, there are at least 3 that I remember, 2 of topless girls sitting in Trump's lap around Epstein's swimming pool, and then one with a stain on the front of Trump's pants with 3 or 4 girls laughing and pointing at it. So I have seen those pictures.
So what's your best guess as to where they are?
Well, I'm my best guess is that Epstein kept them in the safe. The safe was emptied out by the FBI. Where are those pictures?
And of course, there's, this story right here of a businessman by the name of George Ornay. He ran American Dream Calendar Girls Beauty Contest, which had been running in Las Vegas casinos since 1978. He recalls his encounter with Epstein at Mar-a-Lago in January 1993. Ornay says that Trump asked him to organize a party that month with some of his pageant's finalists, promising to invite heads of modeling agencies and prospective sponsors for Trump's competition. He had me fly in all these girls and gave me $30,000 budget for airfares and limos to pick the girls up at the airport. The girls were all decked out, expecting to meet all these VIPs. But after an hour at the party, Ornay says, there seemed to be only one other guest, Jeffrey Epstein. I was like, Donald, where are the guys? What's going on here? And he said, well, this is it. Ornay says he realized this is a Jeffrey Epstein party. Basically, while suspicious of Epstein, Ornay was keen to have Trump as a business partner. A month earlier in December, Trump had met with Ornay and Jill Harth, who ran a pageant altogether. They were looking for a new sponsor for their contest, which each year saw models between the ages of 16 and 22. I mean, again, we're talking about very young girls. By now, you also know of what Donald Trump said about, well, I'll show you this, this clip that we unearthed. This is where Trump alludes that hiring teenage girls for his planes, which is his form of alcoholism. Let me play that one for you.
My name is Juliet. I have a question. My question is, how many jets do you have and how would I apply to be flight attendants?
I think she's hired. You're hired. Now, I had a case. It was very interesting. A beautiful girl who was 17 or 18 applied to be a waitress. She's so beautiful. She's like a world-class beauty, like the young lady who just asked a question about the actress. She's so beautiful. And my people came, she said, but Mr. Trump, she has no experience. Show your computer already work, because she was so pretty. And I said, let me ask you, do you have any experience? She goes, no, sir. I said, when can you start? You can work at my place anytime. Yeah. See, now, if she worked at my place, that's like a death wish for me, right? That's like an alcoholic. I have many friends, they're wonderful people, they're alcoholics. You put scotch in front of them. It's like, this would be my form of alcoholism. Okay, yes, ma'am.
And this is what Donald Trump says he does with girls at beauty pageants. You can play this clip right here.
Well, you could also say, as the owner of the pageant, it's your obligation to do that.
So you have done that. Now,
I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
like
everything is
doctor.
good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible-looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like that.
So, you can judge for yourself. Those are all receipts that we've brought out. All right there. Right there in the open. Right? I mean, is there case closed? What are you talking about? Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million. Thanks for watching.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.